Freaks and geeks, drinkers, thinkers, ramblers and gamblers, stoners and pet owners. Gather around. This is the Outsiders Social Club, where us misfits, miscreants, outcasts get together and ramble, palaver, prattle, and get royally intoxicated while we do so. So without further ado, let's proceed.
One for the party, baby. Puff on the road, drumming, knock back a drink. There's nobody home.
Welcome to episode 8. In the last episode, Joe, the goods dude, Joe Vegas, gave Troy, Squirrely Dan's older brother, and myself tips and pointers for Super Bowl prop bets. We ran long and got off topic. Big surprise. So in the name of keeping the last episode succinct, I scraped up the overflow. Here you go. You're welcome.
You put an eye, and like it'll never be in Utah, and that's completely insane because look at how much money is in Utah. It's like it could infrastructure the whole like western part of the United States if they did it, but they won't because Utah is moral, or they say they are.
Well, they are at least ahead of the lovely state of Idaho in cannabis laws, so there is hope for Utah.
Wow, yeah,
that's stunning.
That's big.
Actually,
it is. Is that an upset? I don't know. Is that
big ups? That's got to
bet the under on Idaho always.
Well, that's what I'm starting to think. I'm like, maybe I've just
Idaho
underestimated Idaho.
Is acting more moral than Utah?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
But it's the same with everything. It's drawing that imaginary discretionary line. This, but not that. And it's just they pick different spots.
Idaho's all none of any of it is really what it's all about.
See, that's kind of what I've been starting to learn.
Yeah, give me a whole 5-hour miniseries on Idaho. That'd be a great listen for somebody, I'm sure.
I would participate.
Get my ass fired.
I've actually enjoyed the 2 times I stayed in Idaho. Scenery wise, it's incredible.
Oh,
that's really hard to beat.
Yeah.
It's
and also not a pothead. So,
well, the funny thing is that I get along with people who I don't agree with. Better. Like Republicans versus Democrats. I think it's because they see my face and my white face and beard and they think I'm like them, but I'm not. And so I don't know. It's
just start telling off-color jokes. Hey, you got a beard. You want to hear something about a minority?
It's actually really weird how generally nice some Republicans are to people with the most weird-ass views of how the world should be. Like they're down to earth, like they're good family people, and their views are just so messed up. It's very bizarre. I don't know, Troy, if you've experienced that at all.
Same. Yeah. You got to always kind of make sure that you keep your conversations at a very superficial, focused level so you can continue to have something in common with many people.
Well, because it's like I said, there's that line where, this is okay, that's super not okay. And you don't know where that line is on those people, where you can be totally chill with them. And then you mention something about weed, and that's like their line. And all of a sudden, you got to be careful.
Yeah, with a state like Idaho that was, Idaho and Montana, and they were settled for either religious or capitalist reasons. There were no other reasons to come here. In Wisconsin, Minnesota, everybody kind of just spread out and moved in there, and then suddenly became densely populated, right? As I mentioned before, we're still under 2 million people in the whole state. So people are still looking to be left alone and still looking to be not trifled with. And there is a bit of an expectation that the tropes of the 1930s and 40s and 50s hold true. The universals are cops are good. Moms and dads are always good. And outsiders are probably not that great.
And probably don't tread on me, probably.
Yeah. There is a little bit of that.
Yeah, no step on snake.
Yeah, it's a really angry snake. We do have rattlesnakes out here, so I can appreciate not stepping on one because they will bite you.
Fair.
I would be petrified if I saw a rattlesnake.
I have a 13 snakes work story in one day that I can share sometime or another.
13 snakes?
13 rattlesnakes.
Hold on. So is that one of them where if they bite you, someone has to suck the poison out?
That's the joke, but the real first aid is to not move the digit and get to ER that has antivenom, which everybody has in this part of the country. So it's pretty.
How long? How long do you have?
Hours.
Okay, so
hours till you lose the limbs, days till you die.
So
if you're out on a run, you get bit in the ankle, you want to walk to the car.
Oh shit! Has that almost happened to you?
Yeah. Well, with turkeys, not rattlesnakes.
So what you're saying is we could stop on the bar on the way to the
Are turkeys poisonous?
No, but they're scary when they're chasing you.
Yeah,
Look,
terrifying.
Ooh, let's do a 2-minute segment of what's the scariest thing you've encountered while running. Okay. Mine was a ram in one of the mountains out here that was like legitimately 10 feet away from me, just eyeballing me, and I was doing one of these like.
Just you want to go, son?
I'm just running, man. I'm good.
Yeah,
and thank God it didn't charge me because I'd have been done for.
Better keep running too, boy.
I pictured that voice also.
Right? Like he might, hey, borrow me a smoke. We'll be cool.
We actually locked eyes and he said, I don't like your kind here. And I said, hey, I don't fucking want trouble. I'm just enjoying the scenery, getting some exercise.
You just keep moving.
We're just a bunch of little Fonzies over here. We're all cool.
No problems.
You said, okay, you're not here to harm me. You're okay.
Mm-hmm. See that you keep moving.
I came to an intersection one time on some of these parallel roads out in the hills, the border up against the Forest Service, BLM private country. And there was a cattle drive going on. And I stopped and asked the cowboy who was at the intersection, watching for traffic, hey, can I go through here or should I wait till it's all done or what? And he's like, oh, no, we're going to be here for hours. You probably just want to run down the edge here. Because, of course, it was like 10 degrees out. It was like one of those perfect Idaho days where the sun is shining, there's no wind, and it's 10 degrees. It's like the best day ever to be outside running. And I'm feeling pretty spry. I'm like, oh, I could probably do that. So I turned down the corner and head down into the pack, as it were, and ran like a half a mile with cows all around me who were used to be around people. And near the end of it, the cow dogs came and helped herd the cows away from me, which was kind of fun because they thought I was part of their crew. So not a wise choice on my part, but definitely a weird one.
Man. See, the thing with me is if I'm running, I've already encountered a thing. So it's, you guys like run into it. It's like, no, if I'm running, there's something fucking behind me. And for me, the worst thing was the police. That's literally my only experience running. Barreling through the woods like fucking Jerome Bettis, taking down small trees, fucking smoking a bowl as I'm going. Stop, sit down on a log.
I enjoy all the videos of people at like Yellowstone going up against the bison and getting their asses kicked. Like, what are they thinking?
They should.
Like my best friend and I drove through there once, and we made it to the basically the end of it to get to this town with like some hotels. And as we were leaving, you don't realize it's their land. They can go where they want, right?
Right.
And so it was foggy and they were all over the road. And we had to drive legitimately like 2 miles an hour just to get past them. And I'm just like, what people would fuck with these animals? Like, you got to be stupid, right? Like, I was just hoping they didn't try to attack our car. Like we just wanted to get through nicely. And you guys saw the video that newscaster, right?
Yeah.
A couple years ago. That's the best. It's so good. I'm not messing with you, man. No, I'm not messing with you.
Well, we keep a prop bet here at our house in Idaho. The over under on tourists getting gored, and the parlay is tourists getting gored and body parts found in hot pools.
Oof.
Oh.
Trey,
how'd you do this year?
We hit the over on both.
All right, we've hit the over. Goddamn tourists maimed. I'm here for it.
Okay, Troy, I gotta actually know about the hot springs thing, but I have an interesting story. So we were in Yellowstone. We wanted to see, what is it, Old Faithful? So I didn't know that Old Faithful goes every hour or something, but might not.
Why it's faithful.
But like it might not go every hour, right? And so we got there near sundown, and it wasn't happening. And we wanted to see it, and it wasn't. And it was almost pretty clear that it wasn't going to happen, right? Like for whatever reason.
Stimulation.
So I was getting bored, and I wanted to go for a run around the area. And they're like, "Yeah, we don't recommend that." And I was like, "Okay, well, what's going on?" It's like, "Well, like if you stay on the road, you might be fine, except for you could get animals." I was like, "But if you don't stay on the road, there's hot springs all over the place, right?
Oh, balls.
Like undiscovered. So you don't want to discover that."
Yeah, you discover that once.
I mean, like, do people die every year doing this stupid stuff?
They die every probably 2 to 5 years, and somebody gets burned every year.
That's why we set the over-under.
Yeah.
Yeah, you never know.
Is it always stupidity where they go off the mark?
Seems like a lot of times it's suicide. Every once in a while it's organized crime. Often alcohol for the people who work there.
Organized crime.
Well, the one from this summer, all they found was a shoe
springs
with a foot in it, and they had to do DNA on the foot to identify who the person was. There's no record of that person having been anywhere in the state before their foot showed up in the hot pool. So who can really say what happens? But, there's often the tragic one where the most tragic one that I remember recently is a young family was moving from East Coast to West Coast or vice versa. And they can cut through the park to, save some highway miles or whatever else. And they stop, and this girl lets her dog out, and her dog runs after a bison, and she goes to chase the dog, and guess where the dog goes? Right off trail. The dog goes into the hot spring. She jumps right in after him. They both get boiled, and they're both no longer with us. So those sorts of tragedies happen. That's on the 5-year scale.
Was there anything left of either of them?
Oh yeah, if you get there fast enough, they're just parboiled, so they're dead, but they're intact. But they'll soon be dead. Yeah. Most of them go between 150 and 225 on the temperature scale, so they're hot and they're often acidic. That's why you can dissolve things in them.
So what I don't understand is Yellowstone is basically on like a super volcano that's 150 years overdue for, and we don't respect it. Like, what are like?
No. What?
Like, what are we doing?
They're
biding our time till we explode and die, I think.
Right.
Well, I mean, like, we don't respect that. I've seen land. It's just like any other land. Let me just go walk where I want.
Yeah. I mean, the only reason they haven't developed it is because they can't. I mean, otherwise there'd be goddamn condos on there.
Oh, if it was Miami, that would be happening, right? It would be a thing.
Hashtag because Yellowstone.
So good. All right, hey, Troy, I'm gonna grab a Diet Coke and mix it with a Fireball and see if it lands at all. Right. I think I have too much Fireball in this Diet Coke Fireball.
Better drink it and add some more Coke then.
Yeah, kind of the standard, right?
We'll get you out of here on the right time. Have no fear. Segue, that darts interview on Le Batard show today was hilarious. The boxing promoter who was the darts guy.
Yeah.
It got me fired up to go to Madison Square Garden to watch darts.
So have you guys ever played in a dart league?
No, I'm not that good.
So you think that, but guess what? I in college we had nothing to do, and so we played in one. You become really good. Now, if you watch these guys in professional darts, they're absolutely amazing. Like, it's the most incredible thing I've ever seen. Like, we're talking white horse every time, which is 3 triple 20s. It's just completely nuts. Like, and it looks like a really wild party every time. It looks like you could go there, get drunk, cheer for darts, and have the time of your life. So
yeah, we had one in our living room for a while, and man, yeah, you're right. It doesn't take a whole lot of time till you start getting real good.
Yeah, we started out doing it as like, hey, we're going to drink on Tuesday nights. And then we started moving up the like standings and we stopped drinking and started like playing more
Like,
serious.
guys, we can do this. Let's just cut back on the liquor and we can be the best at darts.
I mean, we still drank, but you know, just not as much till after the game, you know.
Not podcast worthy volumes.
Well, is anything? I mean,
Maybe wedding receptions.
For this fucking pod, yeah.
depends on the wedding.
That's really that's maybe a thing for a future episode. We should make a list of drunkest places. And I think you're right. Wedding receptions might be up top. We're somewhere. We're in the next 3 for sure.
Not for me, boys. If I'm at a wedding that I'm like, I don't think they should be getting married, or I don't care about one or two of them, I'm like, get out of there as quick as I can. Okay, so.
Well, it depends. If there's,
I'm not counting Mormon
people
weddings
there-
either. If we're going to get particular about it.
Oh boy, what a
Well,
joke!
if I'm at a wedding though, it's somebody I actually like. Otherwise, I ain't fucking gonna be there.
Okay, let's talk about it. Last wedding you were invited to. I've been a long time haven't been invited to a wedding
Christ.
because all my friends, all my like really close friends and family got married. Like it was like 3 or 4 summers of just nothing but weddings, and then I was done.
Yep, that was called the middle 90s.
And mine was like a decade later, so that sounds about right.
Yep. That the 4 to 5 years after college, that senior year of college through 4 or 5 years after, it's just wedding upon wedding upon wedding upon wedding upon wedding.
So I honestly can't remember the last one I was at. It might be 5, 6, 7 years ago.
Me too.
I'm working on
Thing is-
4 for a coworker of the wife's was the last time I was
my
at one. I think.
nieces, and they have like 2 kids already. So it's been quite some time. Oh shit! Yeah.
Do you have a year-old
Working at this
sounder
job.
there, Ron? We need one of those.
Oh what?
Yeah, you guys are all old, and so am I. Sounder.
Oh,
Ron,
no.
Ron, you're my age, except for you did adulting the right way. So you have like children who are getting
Wow.
into and out of high school, and
Right.
I do not.
Yeah.
And if I ever stupidly have a child, I'll be 60 years old at high school graduation. Older.
I know. That's what I always say. I'm in such a small town that if I ever had a kid on the way, I'd have to drive to a city to jump in front of a bus because there's nothing here to jump.
Oh,
in.
jump into a hot spring. That doesn't sound like a bad death at all. Jesus.
That's how that happens.
You could
We
stay
tied
for
it
cheap
all together.
on your way through
Yeah, right.
Is it a quick death at least?
if it's hot enough. I mean,
Fuck. That would be my luck. I'd get the medium temperature hot
The one-
spring.
the
Oh
one
my
that's like
God.
$104 degrees, and you can't get out
Boiling
of
my
it.
skin off. This hurts terribly and I can't escape.
Boiling in a hot tub.
Yeah, right.
Idea
Just-
for
ooh. I don't know. Hot springs just shot up the list. It's you made that sound awful appealing.
okay, well, Here's what I've heard.
Springs, like,
here's what I've heard research wise. I've heard drowning isn't torture because once your lungs fill, it's not that bad.
oh, I don't care. That few seconds before that, fuck that.
And I've heard that falling, you have euphoria. Like if you jumped out of like a building.
Okay.
Again,
Well, I wouldn't think it would take long once you hit, because it's not really the falling; it's the stopping that's the problem.
I would hope you wouldn't feel much of it.
Well, you wouldn't think, because the whole ride down would be like and then
No, but
you hit.
supposedly you go through euphoria before it. Now, I don't know who could have done that research exactly.
Right,
The guy who
that
jumped legs
bounced
first.
and fucking lived.
Yeah.
Like,
But,
oh man, it's euphoric. And then I fucking bounce like a basketball off the earth.
This went a weird place.
Kind of did.
My bad. That's my bad. You messed me up with the suicide by hot springs.
Yeah.
thing.
And we just tied
No.
it back in.
That shit was better than the shit I was doing before.
I
So
lost
keep-
my parlay. Find me a hot spring.
On this week's episode of Regional Obituaries, Brandon Big Toke McGILLICUTY, 42 years old, of Trempealeau, Wisconsin, died earlier this week when, after forgetting that he had the gas can for the snowblower inside the car with him, lit a big fat joint and blew himself up. Brandon left behind no wife or children, but 3 cats, 2 dogs, the entire acoustic hookah discography, and 1 snowblower. No gas. And now, the Outsiders Social Club is going to fast forward 0.01 blood alcohol content into the future.
One last thing. What do you most want to see from this Super Bowl? What are you looking forward to the most about the game? What are you hoping for? Anything. Ron, you're up.
For me, it's Mahomes. I mentioned it in the group chat, but Patrick Mahomes Sr. Was one of my favorite players growing up. I used to love watching him with the Twins.
Are you
initially.
kidding? That's awesome.
No, loved Mahomes.
He was on so many bad Twins teams. I love him.
With his tongue sticking out every time he pitched. And then he eventually wound up on the Cubs. So I was a Cubs fan. And so I hope Mahomes goes nuts, mostly to Kelsey. Maybe a long Pacheco
This
run.
is not a Mahomes podcast. Keep it moving.
That's basically it. I want to see Mahomes go nuts.
Trey, how does Idaho feel about 2 black quarterbacks in the Super Bowl?
All of Idaho has one of 2 opinions. I'll let y'all figure out which part of the state might believe in. I, as previously mentioned twice now, don't care for the Kansas Cities. So I'm hopeful for a bit of a humbling game, injury or not. I'd like to see Mahomes kind of step on himself a bit, maybe throw 3 interceptions, get that over on the interceptions. I'd like to see the Eagles put together a decent game all the way around. But I'm definitely like to throw it out there that I am not defending Eagles fandom, nor am I an Eagles fan. This is all about anti-Kansas City. So all of the people in the world who want to come tear me down because I wasn't anti-Philadelphia, that's really what it's about. So I'm going to redeem myself, and I can't wait till the Eagles win, and I can retweet that my bet with a big old smiley face and a middle finger.
I don't think that's.
I don't think that is
how
redeeming.
that works.
I don't think that is redeeming yourself. And you also completely stepped on my retort about how we're saying that Kansas City fans are worse than Eagles fans. I don't think that's accurate.
It is not accurate in any way, shape, or form.
I'm looking most forward to the fact that if anyone told you a year ago or 2 years ago that Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts would be favored over Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, both 2 mismatches, I don't think we would believe. I think they've overreacted to the fact that the Eagles had the easiest schedule. They had a lot of good fortune go their way. Even their bad fortune was the right timing, injury-wise. They only needed to win 1 more game out of the last 4. I think it would piss off a large group of people if Mahomes won his 2nd in 5 years after being to 3 in 5 years. The conservative Christians, the Tom Brady people, to have the argument of who's the GOAT after 5 years, I'm here for it. I want to see it. I want people to start fighting over Twitter about it. I still have idiots who say Kirk Cousins is better than Mahomes. It's completely insane.
Wow.
I'm here for it.
Has Matt gotten that far north?
I want it to be an amazing offseason of where Mahomes throws for 4 or 5 touchdowns in the Super Bowl, blows them out, and all of the ESPN folks are like, he's the greatest of all time. He should retire right now. He's first ballot.
Yeah, 4 touchdowns to 1 to Juju, 1 to Valdez Scantling, 1 to Sky Moore. And just spreads it out to all.
And he catches 1, and somebody passes 1 to him.
Kelsey throws him 1, yeah.
Ooh, that's one we didn't talk about. Every Super Bowl, has how many people will attempt to pass over 2.5. Like almost every
I'll
one.
take that. I'm
But
writing that down.
has anyone on either team even attempted one other than the two quarterbacks that we know of?
Oh, yeah. All the time. Antoine Randall.
Yeah.
He threw a touchdown.
Different team, buddy.
That was 20 years ago, bud.
Schiff.
That was from Heinz. Yeah, that's the famous one.
Yeah, but I think there's been a few recently. Hasn't?
Yeah, no, you're right. The Nick Foles, Tom Brady Super Bowl, it was like 4 people attempted passes.
Segue, Bubby Brister was on the take from Jerry Jones. I'm putting it out there.
Explain.
He threw the ball right to that defensive lineman. Lost the Super Bowl for the Steelers.
Oh, that was a close one, right?
Yeah. Yeah, about 95, 96.
That's that Larry Brown reference I made earlier.
Yeah.
Did they have a blowout? Also, no, it was 2 blowouts.
Super Bowl MVP. No, Neil O'Donnell threw 2 picks to him. He was a free agent that year. Cashed it in.
I can hang out for a little bit if you guys want. What would you say is, what's the Super Bowl you remember the most in recent memory?
Super Bowl 43. 43 is my number.
That number doesn't mean that much to me.
Oh, it should, because that's the greatest reception in Super Bowl history.
Oh, is that Cardinals one?
Santonio Holmes. Oh, arms outstretched, 2 toes down. Oh, corner of the end zone. Okay. Super Bowl 43.
Can we get an unbiased opinion?
43 seconds remaining.
Let's get unbiased opinion, and then we'll come back to that one. Troy?
I don't really like football that much, frankly. I don't have any Super Bowl memories whatsoever. I do remember the Janet Jackson.
Oh,
remember when the Rolling Stones played?
Yeah.
I remember that's the year of the Seinfeld's finale. Super Bowl wasn't that good. Remember that?
That was no.
It was Atlanta, Green Bay.
That was not at the same time.
The same year.
Okay, but they didn't play the Seinfeld finale after, right?
No.
Okay.
No. What else do I not care about the Super Bowl? Oh, I don't care about any of the interviews beforehand. Nor do I care about the cheerleaders. Also, I don't care about the weather. But I like to. I remember I made cheesesteaks one year. I remember making wings once. That was good.
I didn't realize that your answer was going to be worse than Ron's. So
yeah, and how was I catching shit?
I would like to go back to Ron's where do we put Kurt Warner in greatest of all time conversation if he wins with Arizona instead of loses against the Steelers?
I don't know. Just the fact that he got Arizona's a perennial shit storm.
You know what happened with that one, don't you guys? He didn't let Jesus take the wheel.
I mean, did Jesus bag his groceries? I don't remember. I never saw the movie that was made about him, but all right.
Yeah, he was amazing. And it literally within one of the best receptions in Super Bowl history from winning the damn thing.
What? Not just that, Ron, not just that. The best return. The best defensive return
James Harrison
in history also. Otherwise, you guys lose by 13 points.
Right. And they still, they tried to come back. It's amazing. The play before that, they basically ran the identical play to the other side of the end zone with Holmes and just narrowly missed it. And they came back and ran it to the right side and same thing, but he brought it in.
That was a statistic that I didn't need. It's good for a Steelers podcast, though. I'm trying to remember the last Super Bowl I was sober. Because that's probably one I remember. 49ers Chiefs, I remember, just because we had like COVID pending that we knew what it was, but we knew it was coming, but we didn't want to accept it because we don't accept things until they're there.
Yeah.
So that's probably the most recent one that remember, and I was rooting for Mahomes, and he came back and won. So, and I bet on Mahomes also. So I remember when I bet and win as well.
So on the flip side of that, tell me, wise sages of football, for a non-fan such as myself, what should I be looking for on Sunday?
A good time.
Well,
That's really it.
are there any?
Have fun out
You
there.
you guys remember the first Kurt Warner Super Bowl when they showed his wife like 39 times? Do we have any of those type of things here?
No, I mean, it's been relatively quiet.
Patrick Mahomes' brother.
We haven't seen him all season.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe his wife?
Yeah.
Maybe other quarterbacks' wives. That's even funnier when they flashed and Kirk Cousins is in the building, and here's Mrs. Kirk Cousins.
God. Too much Kirk Cousins talk. Too much airtime for him. Terrible.
Only quarterback I could think of in the moment.
Fair enough. I read something today that he did well in the flag football game.
What did you put any money on that fiasco?
I did not. Yo, are we wrapping up? Otherwise, I need a 5-minute break.
Take a 5-minute break. We'll do a little game planning.
Let the decree go forth. It is time to pee. America is going through a renaissance of online sports gambling, but are you being excluded? Maybe the apps, maybe they ain't for you. Too much to process, all that blinking, the bells and whistles and whatnot. Or maybe you do know how to navigate them just fine, but you ain't got the cash up front like they require. Or maybe you live in one of those states, them fraidy cat states that don't allow gambling because they're afraid of a little gambling. Whatever the reason, you don't got to worry about that, because you can circumnavigate this whole fiasco with my clandestine wagering service, Guy in the Alley. Here at Guy in the Alley, we offer the most secure analog wagering experience. No fancy phone application, and it don't matter what state you're in, there's always a Guy in the Alley nearby. And we don't require cash up front like these phone guys. Of course, failure to pay will result in some broken bones. That's right, we're old school. We will send a real, authentic Italian-American stereotype right to your home like the old days. So if apps ain't for you, or your state's a big baby, trust the original, Guy in the Alley.
We got it. I need a vacation planner. I mean, I'm going to be there 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28.
I thought it was 20.
22.
22 through 28?
Yeah.
Who's 20 through 25? I think that's family. Fuck, I can't keep up.
Too many life things going on.
You got people with you the whole time?
Thursday to Monday, but he's cool. He's running on Sunday, so.
What's he running, half?
Yeah, they're not even doing the full anymore.
Oh, they aren't?
Uh-uh.
Oh my God. Or are they doing the 5K the day before?
The 5K is over on Fremont. Yeah.
They usually do that the day before.
Yeah.
Okay.
When they lost Zappos, they lost a lot of their juice.
It's a pretty shitty race. It's like cool to run on the strip, but like the last 5 or 6 miles, that road is so bad. It's awful. And and then Ron, I got to tell you, assuming that you don't run very often because you only run from the cops.
And that's been 25 years.
Very rarely do you get a race where you finish and you have to walk almost a mile just to get out of where you finish because it's so big. Like you finish at like Mirage.
Yeah.
And then you have to walk to Bellagio just to get out of like the area to get to where, and then you're going to have to walk a long way from there. So it's
exactly their start last year. They started at Planet Hollywood. They staged up there. It was an hour and a half queue.
Wow.
It was ridiculous.
The hour and a half, I'm not as surprised by, but when I did the half, it was right after the shooting. So we started at T-Mobile or right around, New York. And that was insanity. That was just like, I got back from the turnaround. So that was, I don't know, 3 miles in. And there were still like probably a couple thousand people who hadn't started yet.
Yeah.
So now, do you participate in the after stuff? So when I finished, because a couple of times I did the 10K, which is so much better, by the way, because it's a lot smaller field and easier to get to, finishes, nice timing wise, where you're not like running into people. But I participated in some of the drinking after watching people. Do you do that kind of participation?
Last year we did. We had a third dude with us who got too schnockered while we waited for our friend to finish. So he was not great company, but we sat and watched a few of the things. We've never done any of the formal events though. Afterwards, it's always cash in a celebratory beer or two, watch the people come off there, watch people be all frozen, and then go get some food or whatever.
Yeah, I was watching some people. It was right by Flamingo. There's like a little it's like a little gift shop where you can buy beer and stuff right there. And we just kind of hung out there. And we actually met a few runners who were drunk during and wanted like a shot, because we had like a bottle of Fireball, 3 of us, and they wanted a shot during. I thought I had a lot of respect for those people.
Yeah. Like the first time I ran it, like they were shooting Jaeger. Like they were hit it hard in the corral, like because they had to finish the bottle before they could start running. Right?
That's uncalled for.
Rock and roll Las Vegas is probably the only race I've ever seen where a girl is finishing a smoke right before the gun goes off. It's like, okay. Yep. You're not in your normal running race.
Yeah.
The guy you have running, what's his time goal?
He's coming off a plantar fasciitis, so he's way up in the high 9 and pushing 10. So
okay. Yeah. So maybe a couple hours.
Yeah. I think last year was like an hour 42, and this year he's figures going to be 2:10 or something like that.
Runners, the only people who get injured and decide they can't live without it.
Yeah.
They're just like, we can't. We just have to keep going. So.
Yeah. Hey, Rana, what else is on your big board over there? You just cleaning up house or?
No, eating a shitload of popcorn.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's good for a podcast. Let's hear it.
It is. You didn't? I thought you'd hear me crunching over there. That sounded like
you've been pretty good about,
You didn't even mute yourself.
No, well, I just smoked the one joint in the beginning, so I didn't cough through that, and one bowl later. So, yeah, it was all right.
Martin Truex won the NASCAR race.
Adele won a Grammy.
Was that tonight?
Yeah. I cashed the over.
I finished all my Fireball.
Yeah, well, that's how it goes.
Oh, I didn't. Oh. But I did finish all those goddamn videos I had to make for my wife's work.
That was good of you.
Oh, jeebus. 3 of them. 3 damn videos. I was like, well, I got the one done. When do you need the rest?
Is that the Christian school thing?
Yeah.
Terrible. Sounds terrible.
It was. Yeah, not an actor in the group, these fucking kids. Didn't give me nothing to work with. Nothing. Like, God.
The would-be comedians is all you got. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I got to give it to him. Yeah. We went to church and then we had a book fair and farted. Like, ooh, you almost got me. The rest of them just kept like shoving their ass in the videos, like dancing. Like one kid in first grade is like twerking. Like, God damn it. I was so focused on cutting him out, I didn't realize the other kid was sticking his ass out in the video. And like, you literally, my wife going, that kid's not appropriate, Calvin.
Don't edit it out. Just go for it.
Well, that's what I said. Said, I assume you want me to leave all this in? She's like, no, cut all the dumb stuff. I'm like, well,
there's nothing left.
Right?
Here's your 45-second video.
They tested my fucking editing skills.
Excelente. So my cross-media parlay that I never got to was Bruins total points versus total field goals made. It's a little too deep in the weeds for an actual bet out there in the world, but
I like that
because they've got the best offense. I just watched the NHL All-Star game yesterday, and Their goalie has the best goals against and save percentage and win total. And their offense is pretty prolific too.
So I think if you believe that the field goals aren't going to be a thing, the Bruins is the bet.
Yeah.
If you think the Bruins are going to score 4, I think you're good.
Yeah.
God, that's got to be out there somewhere. Just depends on where I want to search to find it.
Yeah. I don't think there's sports books in the tribal casinos around here. I could be wrong on that because I don't go because they just have, poker
I don't
games.
think there is, unless the state agreed. You know what I mean? I think it's a big no-no.
There'll be some kind of deal involved.
Yeah. No, it's been plus or minus for a long time.
All right, guys, let's talk about this quick. Right now, Mahomes to throw 2 touchdown passes is minus 110. So if he throws 2, I break even, right? I'll get my money back. I'll get a refund.
Okay.
Over 2 touchdown passes is plus 160.
Really?
Like, do we really think that Mahomes can't throw 3 touchdowns?
On a bad leg without a problem.
In a Super Bowl where, like, we see how pissed he gets when he's not in the game? Like, I don't...
Yeah.
1 to Juju, 1 to MVS, 1 to fucking Mecole Hardman, 1 to Sky Moore. Oh, Hardman's out?
Hardman's out.
Okay. Well, then 1 to Sky Moore.
And 2 to Kelsey.
No, none to Kelsey. That'll be the rub. Like, the obvious thing won't happen.
$8.50 will win me $13.60. So, Ron, not $13.60 profit. I'll get my $8.50 back also.
Yeah, all right. I'm with
I don't know. I just don't know how you bet against Mahomes. And
I don't either. Said bad leg. He's had a week to rest. He was going out there. You'll have 2.
I did tell a coworker that one thing that does scare me is a couple of years ago that Tampa, Kansas City won when the line just got all that pressure, like
right.
The Eagles are capable of that. But I would hope that there's a different game plan, in that case.
Yeah, like maybe leave somebody back to block. I don't know.
Maybe some Jerick McKinnon receiving yards props. I'm still a little hurt by Pacheco, so I don't know what to do there.
Do they have a third back coming into this? Who else do they have?
Ooh, Clyde Edwards-Helaire is still on the roster.
Is he active?
I'm not sure. I think he's active, but you bring up a good point, Ron.
Because that would be the screwy Andy Reid thing. Clyde comes back for
the total number of rushers for the Chiefs to attempt a rush is 3.5. Would you go over and say that Clyde Edwards-Helaire gets a rush, or would you go with only Mahomes, only Pacheco, only McKinnon?
Somebody else will run one. They'll hand one fucking Juju or something. There's going to be some trickery. There's always trickery.
Yeah, you see why it's so fun?
I do. I'm going to have to.
You know who your wild card is there? Sky Moore on the rushing
with a carry. Yeah,
they actually have his rushing and receiving yards listed here.
Really?
And if
just
Hardman's
check the
out,
script.
If Hardman's out,
yeah, I didn't know Hardman was out.
By the way, Patrick Mahomes to have a reception plus 1,400, 14 to 1.
Wow. We'll look forward to the after party episode. We'll have to record that sometime next week.
If you guys want to, let me know.
Yeah, for sure. Well, your life's the one who's complicated. Mine's easy, and
I can make something happen. Yeah,
I'll keep it like succinct.
Yeah, how'd we do? I lost them all. Or hey, I won these 4.
We'll know exactly what we're following up on. So
probably the first one.
A lot of mystery.
Oh yeah. Well, I have met you in person.
I'll probably get on there and be like, "We won Ron's bets."
Nice.
Way to go, stupid.
I'm gonna go blow Ron's $180.